Top story on the lunch break is from Jammu and Kashmir. NIA, the National Investigation Agency, is all set to take over the 2 civilian killings by terrorists on 5th of October in Srinagar. Kashmiri Pandit, pharmacist ML Bindroo and a Pani Puri seller from Bihar, Virendra Paswan, was shot dead, remember, on 5th of October in Kashmir by terrorists. All of this happening in 1 hour. Director General of Jammu and Kashmir Police and of NIA are already in Srinagar city to assess the situation. Army Chief ML Bindroo also is on a 2-day visit to the Kashmir Valley to review the security status. He is visiting the forward areas along line of control in Poonch. He was briefed about the security status and also about counter-terror operations. Home Minister Amit Shah has met Prime Minister Modi over the Kashmir situation of security. Home Minister Amit Shah will be visiting the Union Territory on Saturday. He will be expected to hold meetings with Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and officials of the Central Forces. Government sources have told India Today that recent killings of non-locals, specifically in the Kashmir Valley, are a result of utter desperation from the terrorists who will not have normalcy and peace return to the conflict-torn Kashmir. And they are, of course, also retaliating to the neutralization of 13 terrorists in 9 encounters in 9 days.
ये पहला मौका है जिस तरह से विपक्ष पूरी तरह से सिमट और सिकुड़ गया है, उसके अलावा वहां कौन है गुपकार गैंग भी सिमट सिकुड़ गया है, उसी तरह से उसकी मानसिकता और उसके दिमाग भी सिमट सिकुड़ गए हैं। राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा के मुद्दे पर, आतंकवाद के मुद्दे पर कभी भी इस तरह की गंदी और घटिया पॉलिटिक्स नहीं की गई है। देश सुरक्षित हाथों में है, किसी को भी भय और भ्रम फैलाने की कोशिश नहीं करनी चाहिए।
A total of 11 civilians have been killed by terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir in the last 2 weeks. These include not only the Hindu and Sikh locals, but also poor migrant laborers from Bihar who are only there to earn their livelihood. Over now to my colleague Akshita Nandgopal. Akshita will be now explaining about these civilian killings.
I just want to get you a sense of how we've seen a surge in attacks, particularly on civilians in the valley. It started with October 2nd when Majid Gori was shot at point-blank range by terrorists. This happened in Srinagar. It was followed, in fact, on the same day by another incident. Mohammed Shafi Dar was stabbed and then shot dead, again by terrorists. 3 days later, on October 5th, there were 3 incidents of civilian killings. Virendra Paswan, a migrant from Bihar, a Pani Puri vendor in Srinagar, was shot dead by terrorists. Within a span of, in fact, 1 day, you also had in Bandipora, Mohammed Shafi Dar, Cab Association president, being shot dead by terrorists. On the same day in Srinagar, a very prominent Kashmiri Pandit, ML Bindroo, was shot dead in Srinagar outside his pharmacy on the same day of October 5th. 2 days later, October 7th, again targeted attacks by terrorists. Supinder Kaur, a government school principal, was shot dead, and you had also her colleague, a teacher, Deepak Chand, who was shot dead. Both of them were lined up outside the school in front of their peers. They were killed by these terrorists. Then on October 16th, you had a migrant from Bihar being shot dead, Arvind Kumar Shah, and you notice a pattern here of non-Kashmiris being targeted, of non-locals particularly being targeted. A migrant from UP also in Pulwama on October 16th being shot dead. Sagir Ahmed being shot dead by terrorists. The very next day, October 17th in Kulgam, Raja Reshi Dev, a migrant from Bihar, a labourer in the area, was shot dead. And you also had Joginder Reshi Dev, another migrant from Bihar in the same area of Kulgam, being shot dead as terrorists barged into their homes and killed them. These are the incidents that have been reported in the last 2 weeks alone. It's led to a lot of panic and fear among non-Kashmiris, among non-locals who are in the area. It's also led to a mass exodus.
And to understand the ground status, let's go across directly to Srinagar. My colleague Kamaljeet Sandhu is there. She's going to tell us about the ground situation. Kamaljeet, what is presently the status? You've been talking to these migrant labourers, absolutely heart-wrenching accounts of them having to flee. What are you picking up on the security status for now?
See, the security has been stepped up after a spate of terror attacks on minorities and those targeting non-local labourers. Now, we've managed to speak to both the migrants as well as the locals. all of them seem to be aghast by these particular spate of terror attacks. But what is significant is the sort of synergy which is being now looked into by security forces, joint operations taking place. We've also been told by our senior officers that a spate of VVIP visits seems to be hampering counter-terror operations. Over 200 visits have happened in the Kashmir Valley in the past 2 months or so. So this entire year has been extremely busy for them, with dignitaries visiting, including ministers, including judges, including parliamentary delegations. But on ground, what has happened is that the situation does manage to have slipped away from their hand, and this is where hybrid modules have come in. These are modules which are getting instructions from Pakistan, but these are also people who are youngsters who have no past antecedents of terror. They are the ones who are coming, getting pistols, who are carrying out terror attacks and then going back into their normal life. And this is where the real challenge really comes in. Now, with NIA taking over the case very soon, and we've been told not just this particular case of Bindroo as well as Virendra Paswan, but also the killing of 2 teachers in Srinagar is likely to be taken up by NIA. Remember, the investigation will have to nail the conspiracy and find that Pakistan link, which has obviously been evasive at this point of time by investigating agencies. But NIA has been tasked to look into that.
And also to ensure, Kamaljeet, that the terrorists do not get the last word. Yes, in this NIA Kashmir. Kamaljeet Sandhu is on the ground. She'll be getting us all the latest. NIA is all set to take over the investigation, at least in 2 civilian killings. And India Today is going to consistently get you coverage from J&K on the ongoing status. My colleague, meanwhile, Akshita Nandgopal, will help you explain who are on terrorists' target this time. Apart from attacking locals, they are not even sparing poor migrant workers this time.
Let's take you through who's really on the target list in the valley currently. First, you've got Kashmiris who are serving in the police force or who are in the security agency. So these Kashmiris who are part of the Jammu and Kashmir police or who serve with the army or any other security agency are being targeted by terrorists. Non-Kashmiris, non-locals who've moved to Kashmir to earn a livelihood, they're being targeted. As you see, several vendors also being shot dead by terrorists. Poor migrant workers are being singled out by terrorists. There have been incidents of these terrorists barging into their homes and killing them. BJP workers, and this has been going on for the last many months, of BJP workers being shot dead in both Jammu as well as in Kashmir by terrorists. Beyond that, also anyone who's known or seen to have an association with the RSS is on the terror list, are being targeted by these terrorists. And these are the people that agencies believe terrorists are going after currently in the valley.